The Aditya Birla Group today announced a complex restructuring of two of its key businesses, that's Grasim and Aditya Birla Nuvo, both listed companies. Both will merge, and thereafter the financial services business will be demerged from that merged entity and it will be listed, and so there you will have the unlocking of the financial services business. To talk us through the rationale of this restructuring and the outlook for all of these businesses, we have with us the chairman of the group, Mr. Kumar Mangalam Birla. Mr. Birla, thank you so much for joining us. My first question to you has to do with what prompted this unlocking of value, as you call it. Why at this point in time? Because this is something you could have done at any point in time. And maybe a simpler way of doing this was to just take the financial services business from Nuvo and separate it out and allow for an unlocking to happen in that fashion as well. But you didn't choose to do that. You chose this route. Explain to us why.
So, there is no right time. I mean, there is no, this is the best time to have done this. But the idea being that if you look at Nuvo in the last 2 or 3 years, we've spun out Carbon Black, we've spun out the fashion business, which is now an independently listed company. And so there is a theme that we are obviously playing to. And we felt that the financial services business is now the right size, the right critical mass.
Okay.
And it seemed like the opportune time. The reason why we didn't spin it off as an independent entity is because we have ambitious plans to grow the business. And this structure gives us the firepower in terms of just the ability to fund that ambition. Since this will be a subsidiary of Grasim, with Grasim having about 57% stake in the company. So that really is the reason for the construct from the point of view of the financial service business.
So Grasim will help then strengthen the business from a funding point of view as well.
Absolutely.
And that's really very important for any financial services business at this day and age, right? Especially to grow. Can you give us some sense of the valuation of the financial services business? Because I know we have all the swap numbers, but we don't yet know what that business will potentially be valued at.
So difficult for me to say, to be honest. Like would be in this case, in the case of a transaction like this, we have two independent valuers who are both very reputed firms and who have their methodology to value businesses.
I think Ajay suggested 20 to 25,000 crores. Is that correct? Is that the number?
So again, I can't put a number to it. I think it would be unfair of me to do that because I really don't have a good sense of what the valuers have taken as a valuation.
So since the key driver is the unlocking of the financial services business, can you give us a sense of your outlook for the business, your fundraising plans for it, your growth plans and expansion plans for it, and eventually whether you hope to separate out the insurance business as well, because we've already seen moves in that area, where large banks or otherwise have been now looking to list their insurance services businesses.
So in brief, this is not driven only by the need to grow the financial service businesses. I think that is one of the important planks for this overall construct of this transaction. We are also creating a behemoth that is a play on the India growth story. So you have a very interesting mix of businesses in the manufacturing space and the services space, businesses that are throwing up cash and businesses that are growing very fast. So if you believe in the India story, then there's no way that you won't track this company. As an investor
I get that.
or otherwise.
Grasim and Nuvo. I'll come back to that. But just your plans for financial services.
Financial services is a business that we are very ambitious about, as you can imagine. We've got a track record of more than 20 years. The business has come of size. Good quality book. Great processes in place from the point of view of risk management. And the idea is to retain or to become a dominant player.
Any immediate fundraising plans so that once this becomes an independent listed company, and then you spoke of the very strong financial backing that Grasim will give it, being a 57% shareholder, do you have any immediate fundraising plans?
So
let's say, over the next
plans
year or
to
so?
raise funds as of now, but I think that the strong parentage gives it that much of more funding capability.
And when you speak of funding capability, I assume that you also mean that prepares the financial services business to look at potential acquisitions as one measure of growth as well.
Sure, I think we've grown through acquisitions in several of our businesses. And yes, it does give them the firepower to do that. Nothing in the offing as of now. But
which
we'd
part
always
of the
be interested to look at it.
would you be looking to acquire?
So
where do you
difficult to
see
say,
scope for inorganic growth?
Potentially across business segments. So nothing in the offing just now, but nothing that stops us from looking at anything that creates value.
About the insurance business, any plan at this point
So
in
no
time
plan of
to list that
IPOing the
separately?
business.
Why is that, may I ask?
We basically are listing the holdco, which is going to be a source of funding going out in the future. So there really doesn't, there is no compelling reason to also list.
But the valuation
the insurance
dynamics for an
company.
insurance business would be different from an NBFC or a lending business. So you might, see value in being able to list that separately.
So that's an option that we examined, and we believe that the option that we've actually chosen is the best funding option for the business as a whole.
Okay. I know that you're pursuing the payment bank plan, between IDEA and now I assume what will be ABFSL or Aditya Birla Financial Services Limited, correct? So are you disappointed that even now that the RBI has announced on-tap bank licensing for regular full-fledged banks, they've still ruled out the presence of big business
I
groups?
think that in our mind, that ship has now sailed. So we're looking at growing the NBFC part of the business. And we really aren't banking on getting a bank license anymore.
But you were disappointed that they have, in
Of
fact,
course,
moved
of course.
that.
I thought that it would be a very interesting business for us. We all thought so in the group. But it seems that regulation will not encourage large business houses to get a banking license, which is fair enough.
Do you agree with that? The
Not
regulatory point of
necessarily.
view?
So there can be many points of view
Okay.
around it. But like I said, we've kind of moved on and decided to focus on the NBFC instead.